Alright everyone, hello, greetings, and welcome to this news video. I am the Ninjaneer. The topics we're covering today are as follows. Driving You Crazy podcast with Steve Fambro. Free Power update. Honda and Nissan still talking, and Tesla somehow? Nikola has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Rivian might not get its $6 billion loan. Aptera neutral rolling test. Oil usage in the US, the update. And things I liked. Let's get started. Alrighty then, the first story we're talking about is a podcast that Steve Fambro went on called Driving You Crazy. It is a local Denver news station that decided to start a podcast, and they had Steve Fambro on. They talked about a whole bunch of fun and interesting things. And the way that I found out about this podcast is through a channel called Free Power, who I've talked about a few times, but this time I'm talking about them with reference to this podcast because not only did they cue me into the podcast itself, he also did a breakdown of each of the portions of the podcast that were interesting. So yeah, just check out his channel and get like a little update for what's going on with Aptera and Steve Fambro's thought process on many different topics through this podcast. Okay, so the Honda Nissan thing has gone through a lot of ups and downs, and when I saw how much stuff was going on with this situation, I was thinking about doing like little pieces of video, like little video snippets, I guess, to kind of go over the intricacies of this thing as it developed. But yeah, that was not feasible due to my time constraints. So here we are talking about all of it at once. So the first thing here, Honda open to resuming Nissan talks. If you guys remember, Honda kind of said never mind to these talks because they couldn't come to an agreement. Honda is opening to resuming those talks if their Japanese rival's chief leaves the company. Basically, hey, if you fire your CEO, we'll go ahead and resume these talks. The level of savagery and pettiness that was there for this particular announcement, it is palpable. I'm not going to claim to know a lot about Japanese business culture, but one thing that is really, really hard to do is to convince a Japanese company to fire its CEO. 9 times out of 10, the CEO is either the person who started the company or a family member of the person who started the company who studied the business through the tutelage of the previous CEO and then took over later. That's usually how that goes. And so saying, hey, we're gonna resume talks with you if you fire your CEO, basically is giving the message without giving it. We don't want to talk to y'all. Yeah, that happened, and then basically Nissan went to there were rumors that Nissan was going to try talking to Tesla to get the funding that they need to continue the transition to electric vehicles. Yeah. Alright, so what was alleged here is that a high-level Japanese group that includes a former prime minister has drawn up plans for Elon Musk's Tesla to invest in the struggling car maker Nissan following the collapse of its merger talks with rival Honda. We found out even later than that, and hopefully you guys don't have an ad blocker. Apparently I do. But Nissan responds to report Musk responds to report that Nissan may seek Tesla's investment. Let's just say that response was not favorable for Nissan. They said, no, we're not really doing that. We don't know where you heard that from, but not quite. And so, yeah. But yeah, that was the basis of what's been going on. In case you missed it, the Honda Nissan deal fell through, and then they said, hey, we're willing to talk with you again if you fire your CEO. And then they said, never mind, we don't want y'all anyway, and started courting other people, or so the story seems to go from insiders. And one of those people courted was Tesla. Another one is Foxconn, and all kinds of stuff like that. But yeah, basically they tried to court Tesla, and Tesla was like, yeah, we're not even thinking about this deal as a thing that we would actually do. So yeah, it's a lot going on over there in Nissan's world. Like I said, Nissan has been fumbling the ball for a long time now, so I have a hard time thinking that they should continue to exist if they don't make serious changes to how they do business and their thoughts behind how to become a profitable company. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I think needs to be tuned up before they have a chance of being bought out, and when they have the chance of being bought out, technically speaking, they won't need to be. So yeah, I don't know. Nissan has a strange place in my heart right now. Mostly disdain, but a little bit of nostalgia, because one of my best friends in college had nothing but Nissans, and they were wonderfully peppy little things, and even though most of the time they were falling apart, they were always reliable. So yeah, anyway, that's my thought on that. Alright, Nikola has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This was courtesy of their actual website. They initiated comprehensive voluntary Chapter 11. Yeah, basically it just goes into detail. Nikola enters Chapter 11 with approximately $47 million in cash on hand to fund the foregoing activities, implement the post-petition sale process, and exit Chapter 11 through a planned process. Now, Chapter 11 is one of the many ways to file bankruptcy for a company. To kind of give you an idea, I looked up what Chapter 11 was and kind of read through it here. Chapter 11 is generally provided for reorganization, usually involving a corporation or partnership. A Chapter 11 debtor usually proposes a plan of reorganization to keep its business alive and pay creditors over time. People in business or individuals can also seek relief in Chapter 11. So basically what's going on here is they've decided we are going to restructure and say, hey guys, if you are a little more patient with us for a little more time, we will be able to become a profitable company and get you the money that we promised that we would pay you back. That's what Chapter 11 means. So what they are doing is they are restructuring, they are reorganizing, they are hopefully putting together a solid plan to actually get back in the game and do some stuff. That is what Chapter 11 means. Now, I am not terribly privy to Nikola as a company. I've only heard of them and kind of made the little cursory similarities to Tesla, in that Nikola is the first name and Tesla is the last name. That's pretty much all I've done with Nikola, and I have not actually looked into them as a company. But now that this restructuring has happened, I will pay more attention to them to see if they've actually learned their lesson, I guess you could say, and start making moves that makes it look like their business might actually succeed. Alrighty, so we do have some Rivian news today. I'm gonna start with the bad news so that we can end on a good note with Rivian. Basically, Rivian's $6.6 billion federal loan secured during the Biden administration now hangs in the balance. The Georgia governor, known as Brian Kemp, has said that he didn't know whether the Trump administration would honor the contracts of the Biden administration, in a warning delivered right before Rivian's key Q4 results. If the loan is canceled, Tesla's CEO Elon Musk stands to benefit the most. Yeah, that's just generally how it is right now. That money could go away, and if it does go away, since it was allocated and everything, and if it's pulled back, then that would basically make it so that Rivian would not be able to build their new factory as quickly as they were anticipating. They're going to have to rely on revenue or perhaps get money from somewhere else, like Amazon or something like that. But yeah, right now, that $6.6 billion loan to build their new factory seems to be in turmoil. On the good note, though, Rivian posts $170 million gross profit in Q4. If you are curious as to what exactly gross profit is as opposed to net profit. There was a video done by Lucid that does a good job of explaining that and talking more nitty-gritty about the details of Rivian's gross profit in Q4. And to add to that a little bit, Rivian is also expecting to have a gross profit in the entirety of the year for 2025. So hopefully we'll see some good things from Rivian. Rivian might actually make it. It looks like they are not only a good product that people want, but they are also able to build a vehicle profitably. Those are basically the two most necessary ingredients for a car company to be successful. Those are the two ingredients that Tesla had before they became a big deal. So yeah, Rivian's looking like they might be on the up and up. They might make it. All right, so the next story here, we're talking about Aptera's validation test for the coast down. They coasted down from 60 miles per hour, and it took them a grand total of 3 minutes and 5 seconds and some pieces of a second to coast to zero. That is a remarkable number for several reasons. Let's just say when I tried it, as soon as this video dropped, I was like, hey, I gotta go to the grocery store. Yeah, I gotta go to the grocery store. And so I went out there and then I did a coast down test from 60 miles per hour in my car. It did not last 3 minutes. It did not last 1 minute. So I am deeply interested in what exactly they did to make this feat possible beyond the obvious, the aerodynamics and the low rolling resistance tires. Is there something else? Is there a secret sauce here? Or is it just pure engineering awesomeness? Yeah, long story short, this is an amazing achievement. I have never in my life seen or heard of a car rolling this long that wasn't like a solar racer or something. So yeah, this is really remarkable, really cool. I also enjoyed the fact that we got to sit in the cockpit for some of the time in this video to see the view from the Aptera and watching the road go by like this right here. It was fun to watch, and I like the vantage point because I like being low to the ground personally. But yeah, good video. Validation testing is happening, and we're going to get more consequential numbers. Well, rather, the numbers are going to get more consequential as the time gets closer to them to get into production and things of that nature. Alright, you guys may remember me doing a story a little while ago about the fact that the US might actually use less petroleum products in 2024 than they did in 2023. I am sad to report that that is not accurate. The amount of consumption that we had was a little bit more. So we went in 2022 from 20.1 million barrels per day to 2023 20.18 million barrels per day to what is now 20.36 million barrels of fuel per day. So we have gone a little bit more up, but the trend, interestingly enough, is a less sharp incline than previous decades, like from 1990 up to 1999 and 2000, there was actually a fairly sharp increase. That graph is looking to start flattening out some. So no, it is not true that we use less fuel in 2024 than in 2023, unfortunately. However, we did manage to use a less severe increases worth of oil. Now, production is kind of insane. Like, we are producing almost as much as we consume, which is interesting. It is a goal that Biden set out to achieve, and he has done so, which, you know, that's pretty great in the context of that we now are not necessarily reliant on foreign oil reserves and things like that. Now, do I wish that this was unnecessary? Do I wish that this number was going down because so many people were now switching over to electric versions of whatever gas thing that they were using? Yes, I do wish that. But the fact that we are slowing down the rate of increase is a good start. I'm hoping that sometime in the next 4 or 5 years, this trend is going to start moving downwards instead of slowly increasing. So yeah, that's the update. It's not what I wanted, not what I would like to see, but it is the facts of the matter. Alright, now from that slightly sad note to the things that I like. Today we had a video that I liked from Drive the Lightning. They decided to do kind of a it's a trap situation. If you're familiar with Star Wars in any respect, they have a creature that yells, "Oh, it's a trap!" to signal everybody that, oh no, we've been outthought by the bad guys. And so he says the words, "It's a trap," and anyway, long story short, they riffed off of that in order to make a video about the pitfalls of going to test drive an electric vehicle. I found myself prey to this situation as well. I went in to go and test drive a Tesla Model 3. I remember this day like it was yesterday. Went in to test the Model 3, and I've got 2 or 3 miles down the block, and I said to myself, oh, I need one of these. And if I had the money, I might have already purchased a Model 3. So yeah, if you go out there to test drive an EV, just know that you're going to want it. Make sure that you do your research so that you can go out there and get an EV that you actually need, that fits your needs, instead of an EV that you sat in for the first time and you love it. Yeah, that's basically what this video is about. It was very good. It was very fun. Very well thought out, and the points were well articulated. Alrighty, so one of the guys that I met during CES was this gentleman that has a channel called Aptera Accessories. Joseph is his name, and he did a walk around of the display at CES. It is a very well done walk around. He explains things as he goes. He smushes the foam there, as you can see. But yeah, it was a fun video to watch, and I enjoyed it very much. Alright, so Aptera was in an episode of, well, not an episode, an issue of Classic Motorsports magazine, and it kind of showed, well, it's a magazine that shows really cool classic cars and things like that, and so the fact that they're showing Aptera is just really cool. Yeah, he talks more in detail about the article and the issue itself and things like that, so check this video out. It was a fun watch, and it was kind of a good look at historical aerodynamic efficiency and things of that nature. Very fun. Alrighty, so then another video that I watched kind of changed my frame of reference for things that I thought were necessary for a car company. In Lucid's case, Tailosive made the argument that essentially Lucid doesn't necessarily need a car to be profitable. I'm going to let you guys watch the video itself to kind of understand what his arguments were, but they were very compelling and very interesting, and a viewpoint that I hadn't thought of before. So I always like getting new information, new interesting stuff to talk about, to think about, and to express, and so yeah, here we go. This is in its purest form a line of thinking that I had never and would have never thought of, and now I get to think about it because of wonderful people out there on the interwebs doing their thing and sharing information. Alright, that will do it for this particular news video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am an engineer. Please do all of the things that you would normally do for a YouTube video, the likes, the subscribes, the other YouTubey things. We have been on an absolute tear as far as subscribers and stuff goes, and I appreciate you guys so much. It is fantastic to see that the content that I make is appreciated and watched and what have you, so I'm going to keep it up. I might even make it a goal to, make this my primary thing at some point or another in the future. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you next time. Oh, one thing that I forgot to say. I am planning on doing an interview with Jason Hill again. I noticed you guys had a lot of questions that I didn't actually ask during the interview, so I said to myself, I should probably make sure that I ask more questions in a next interview. Since Jason was more than willing to do another interview because he is an amazing person, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out to you guys. If there were any questions beyond what has already been asked during the original video about Aptera's design, either the design inside and out or the UI or things like that, please write those questions down below and I will aggregate them and make sure to ask them when next I get to speak to Jason. So thank you guys again for watching. catch you next time. Alright, if you guys remember, I put out a video some time ago that talked about the fact that we might actually use less oil this year, more oil in 2024 than less oil in 2024 than what we used in 2023. I'm just gonna restart that. That was awful.